Wow, yo, good evening, everybody. What's going on? Welcome to Extreme Makeover Part 2. Listen, we're excited to be here. Listen, I don't know about you guys. I want to see you on the chat. I see Durham, North Carolina in the building. I see Orlando, Florida in the house. We're excited to have you here. We are so grateful. My name is Pastor Austin Humphreys. This is my brother, Pastor Kaggia Scott. We are the co-pastor of the North Carolina Online Worship. Pastor Scott, Extreme Makeover Part 2, man. How you feeling? You excited?
I'm ready, man. I'm here, man. We said extreme makeover. That means like with all due diligence. We here like to really work on some stuff. I'm like Mary, just sitting here ready to learn some stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got some smart people, man. T. Marshall Kelly's like my granddad, man. And when I'm around him, man, he does 95% of the talking. Because he got, you know what I'm saying? Because he got 95% of the information. Right. And so I'm just here today, right? Not to talk too much, man, but just to sit here, man, and learn some things.
Listen, we want to learn a lot today. We got a lot to get to. A lot of folk who are in the space today. You can already see those who are in the chat. We see that you're here. Do me a favor. We want you to do this. Can you get into the comment section, hit that share button, hit that like button, spread the word. Once again, let us know exactly where you're from, but we need you to share this. If you're a sharer, go ahead and put #sharer. Also, we're giving away $50 tonight. All right, $50 tonight. Here's how you can get that money. We're going to do for you. We want you to make sure that you head over to the South Atlantic Conference YouTube page. South Atlantic Conference YouTube page. You have to subscribe to their page tonight. If you're already a subscriber, no problem. But if you're a subscriber, we can check and see. So subscribe tonight. If you haven't subscribed already, that's South Atlantic Conference, their YouTube channel. Watch it live. Get in the comment section and put #subscribed. #subscribe. We want to make sure that we can see you be a part. At the end of our service tonight, we're going to make sure that we get $50 to you. Listen, Pastor Scott, I'll just say this. Yeah, man, go ahead.
I was just thinking, man, when I first got my first house, like, I didn't have my own toolbox. Yeah. The only thing I had was like a Phillips head screwdriver and a butter knife. Like later on, I got some duct tape. And so the more tools you get, the more you can work with. Absolutely. And you got to work with what you got. We're just trying to tell y'all today, if you listen today, if you share this, like you might get another tool to put in your toolbox. And why should you be working with a butter knife when you can work with a flathead?
There you go. Today we're getting tools, man. Pastor Scott's already dropped the bomb. We're getting tools today. We're excited. Listen, you all, before anything else, we want to make sure that we do this. As the numbers are rising, we can see it. We've got our leader, our illustrious leader, the bishop of the field, as we like to say, Pastor, Mr. President, Elder Winston is in the space. We're going to ask him to come on. Elder Winston, please, man, give us greetings on behalf of our conference today.
Thank you, Elder Humphrey, Elder Scott, and I see the stakes are rising. Did you say $50?
I said, Doc, I said 50. We're doing all right, man. We give away 50, man. It's going up.
$50 gift up. Wow. For subscribing on SAC YouTube, you have to do that. Good evening. Sir. I'm happy to see you. Happy Sabbath to those of you who are in time zones where the sun has already set, like it is in Eastern time zone. We're happy to see you for Extreme Makeover Church Edition Part 2. Some of you are with us before. We thank you for rejoining us. Some of you, this is your first time. You are in for a treat. I trust and pray that you are safe and that you are healthy and blessed of the Lord, and you're going to enjoy this weekend. I guarantee it. We have our crew that was with us a month ago. And we have some new presenters that you will meet in just a few minutes. So we thank our host tonight, and we thank our crew and our team. We thank the Ministerial Department of the South Atlantic Conference, Elder C.B. Preston. We want this not just to be entertaining. We want it to be informative. We want you to learn. We still got to finish the work, y'all. We can't put the work of the gospel on hold because of COVID. We've got to finish this work so the Lord can come. So listen up, take notes. You can put questions in the chat if there's any way we can help you, because we're in this together. We want to see the Lord come soon. So God bless you. Thank you for being with us, and enjoy the evening.
Thanks, Elder.
Thanks so much, Elder Winston. Man, we just really appreciate you for being a part, being here. Listen, guys, we're not going to wait. Let's get to it. On January, at the end of January, we had Pastor Daniel Kely come do some powerful series with the 3 days. Man, he gave us some powerful tools, gave us some great theory to get out there and do it. And we're talking today about contact without contamination, how we can grow our churches despite COVID-19 for now and for the future. And we're excited to bring on our panelists at this time. So we're going to ask our panelists to come onto the platform. I'm excited to share and talk with them. Dr. Joshua Nelson is here. Dr. Man, good to see you. We also have Pastor Daniel Kely today. He's in the space as well. And of course, we have, Pastor Elder Calviin Preston is with us. Elder Preston, Extreme Makeover 2, Doc. How you feeling, man?
I'm excited. I'm excited because we're getting down to the nuts and bolts of what Pastor Kely talked about last month. He talked about friendship and how do we engage in the community. And so he told us we should be friendly. We should be. That's a key component. But how to? Yeah. I've been asking him, man, how do we do it? How do we do it? Okay, I know I need to do it. How? And tonight we're going to answer that question. So just relax. You're about to be carried on a spiritual journey, but you're going to be blessed every step of the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pastor Preston, before we get started, we know that you got a quote that you can't wait to share with the folk. We want to ask if we can get that up here. We want to get a chance to just share and give us some of your thoughts on it.
So I'm preparing this sermon, right? And I'm looking at something to bring it home because, if you can find a nice quote, saints might believe in you. And so the Lord led me to this one. Ellen White wrote this back in the Review, May 5th, 1904. She literally gives the answer. Now, I've been pastoring 45 years. I make no apology about it. I'm excited to be here. 45 years. And I've been trying to wonder, how do you keep the church alive? How do you keep the church engaged? Do you come up with some potluck? Do you do this? Do you do that? And this will answer if you even think your church is dying. If you think your church is dying, here's an answer. What can we do? What should we do? Look at this quote. The darkness of discouraged members may be dispelled, gotten rid of. How, Lord? If they are led to work for those more needed than themselves. Our ministers may visit our churches and may offer public prayer to God for the comfort of the sorrowing. Ask him to dispel doubt from their minds and shed light into their darkened hearts. But this will not be so effective in helping these sorrowful, doubting, sin-burdened ones as what can help? As to lead them to work for those more needed than themselves. The darkness will be dispelled if they can be led to help others.
That's it.
So God strengthened us, because people always say, my church ain't ready. We have problems. We can't do this. We can't even get along. Here is the answer tonight. The pen of inspiration.
Yeah.
When we help others, we help ourselves.
Absolutely.
So if our churches are dying, all we have to do is go to work.
Go to work.
Pray, fast, and then get up off our knees and go to work.
That's it.
And this is what we're going to talk about tonight. What can I do to bring life to my soul as well as to the community?
Yo, I love that. And tonight we're going to get right to it. Our first specialist, Dr. Joshua Nelson, man, someone you know really well. Go ahead and take a moment to introduce her as she comes to us today.
Yes. Well, we have a great panelist that I'm about to introduce. It's from my area. Of course, I'm biased, but I want to introduce to you all Dr. Samara Sterling. She is a nutrition scientist and research director of the Peanut Institute here in Albany, Georgia. And I'm excited to have her on, y'all. She has been a blessing to our church, a blessing to our community, and really has exhibited what it means to really be engaged in your community, to really meet the needs of people who are in need in our area. And so I'm excited to have her on. We've been doing this thing now. Let me talk to y'all just real quick, because see, one of the things that I like to do when I go into a community as a pastor is I like to pray and ask God to have him tell me what he's doing in the community. And when you plug into what the Holy Spirit is doing, you cannot fail. And so we begin to see that God was doing some amazing work with health ministry in our community. And we begin to see how all the pieces have been coming into play. We saw that there are problems of poor health, problems of food insecurity and food deserts in our community. We also saw that the hospital is looking to find a way to address some of these issues. And so we also saw community gardens popping up. We're in an area in Southwest Georgia where we have the highest population of Black farmers. And so what we begin to do is help people connect the dots between the food that they can grow right there in their backyard and the food that we can grow in our community gardens, and also connecting that with health. And that has been a niche that we've done in our church. We've even started a plant-based restaurant. Right now it's a pop-up restaurant.
Wow.
And I'm really excited about what Dr. Sterling has done, taking even further and doing a research study talking about Black people specifically and our health and how that connects to plant-based foods. I wanted to just talk about that just for a little bit here as we go on.
All right. Well, good evening, and thank you all for having me. It's a pleasure for me to really be here. It's Friday, and I'm pretty tired because I've been doing a lot of work, as Pastor Nelson just mentioned. I just want to say that when I moved here to Albany, Georgia, I'm originally from New York, but when I moved to Albany, Georgia 3 years ago, the one thing that I knew was that God was putting something on my heart to work for the community. I knew the gifts that he had given me. I knew the talents that he had given me. And there was just something, I don't know if you've ever felt this before, that there's something God wants you to do. And if you don't listen to the Spirit, you know you're not really doing the will of God, and that you're not really fulfilling that calling that he's placed on you. So when I decided to start this intervention within this community, it is really a nutrition and lifestyle intervention, looking at how a plant-based, soul food-esque diet can help to transform health within a rural majority African-American community. Now, this is something that's traditionally not been done in the scientific realm. Usually people say, well, Black people don't like to eat healthy, so let's not even try that. And then to go all plant-based and ask people to do that, that's something that you don't hear of. But I knew what God was calling me to do. Pastor Nelson mentioned that we have the hospital here looking for ways to be engaged in the community. I'll tell you guys that I literally just walked into the CEO's office one day and I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing. Can you give me some money so that we can get this work done in the community? And it was as if every single entity that I went to, and we're talking about national companies, I can't name all of them right now just because of the privacy, but as I went to all these agencies, it was as if the angels of God were just going before me to say, hey, these are the partners in this work. This is the ministry that we need to do. And I'm going to put people in your path to help you to do that. And I'll just tell you that it has been exciting for us. We're seeing people, I mean, after the first week of the program, their blood pressure's gone down. They're telling me that their doctors are telling them that their numbers are in the right direction. I just got a picture on my phone today saying, I've been trying to fit into this jacket for years and it finally fits. I have lost weight throughout this program. And we're just excited to see what God is doing. There's so much more I can share. I don't even know.
Dr. Sterling, can I? That's because you made a point that I want the panelists and us to really kind of dig with you, because what you're talking about partnerships, that doesn't matter if you're a big church, small church. You said you had an idea. You went into the building. Talk to us just briefly. Why is it important, whether I'm a part of a big church or a small church? Why is it important to reach out and partner with other organizations? Just really quick, what does that do for us?
Well, I'll say the first thing is, whether you're a part of a big church or a small church, you are the church. So if you know that you are the church, then you know that he who is with you, I mean, you've got God with you. You've got the angels with you. Partnership is super, super important because our work involves people. And one of the things that we can tend to fall into as a church is that we tend to stay closed within ourselves and start doing more in-reach. Right? But our ministry, and not that in-reach is bad, in-reach is great too, but our ministry The Bible says, go ye to all the world, right? And so we need those partnerships in order for that to happen, because there are folks that you don't even know that God has placed in high places to help you reach the goals that he's called you to do.
Yeah.
So Dr. Sterling, let me ask a question. So I'm from a small church. Tell me, how did you go about choosing what where to go? You know, so my little town, you know, we're not Atlanta, we're not Charlotte, you know, we're just this small little church on the side of the road. So how would I know, and where would I know to go to as a church?
You start where you are, and there's a quote, and I forget where it is, but it says, do the work that lies nearest. And I think that a lot of us like to look at, oh, maybe I need to get on a plane and go to Africa. And maybe I need to go to the Caribbean. No. There is work around you. You have a neighbor, right? You see your neighbor come out every single day, and your neighbor might be using a walker. Has it ever occurred to talk to your neighbor about, hey, is there anything that I can help with? And I'll say this, friendship evangelism is the way to go, right? Because Jesus went and he met the needs of the people who are around him. So I would say to that, and I hope I answer that correctly, but starting where you see the needs are presently in your sphere of influence in your community.
And I want to add this to it, you know, because you have to really catch the gravity of what is happening, what she has done in the community. And we're meeting with, and I guess I could say the number, over 20 people each week who are going through an intervention that her and her team have designed, really spelling out the health message, you know, very clearly, and teaching them through these 12 weeks of this intervention. They're getting food, they're getting you know, plant-based food, learning how to cook it, and these folk are leaning in. I mean, it's amazing. When I see, it's amazing to see how these people have never eaten vegan before, and they are cooking, posting meals of all the food that they're making, and they're really enjoying it. And so all we really did, and I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, Dr. Sloan, we just put out a flyer, right? And begin to talk to people who we know, people we have networked with throughout the time. And that's, again, that base we've created being in the community. And when people saw this, they gravitated to it.
Josh, before we move on, talk about that base you created for the church that wants to create a base. How do I create a base? Just 30 seconds. Give me how'd you create that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just if you're tuning into what your God is saying for you to do. We talked about health. So anytime I hear health, I'm listening to those people. I'm hearing, going to those circles. I'm talking to the hospital. I'm talking to people who are doing community gardens. I'm talking to people who are doing the mobile grocery stores. And I'm just listening and I'm building my network up and trying to gather names. And from there, I build off of there.
So what kind of budget did you start with?
Oh, we start with a negative budget, Pastor. But the Lord, when the Lord owns a cattle on 1,000 hills, he'll
come on, sis.
So I'll just tell you, every single need is taken care of, and then some. So we have no concerns there.
And again, she has received hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of food that have been donated. And so this is coming from again, we can't say who, I guess, but coming from around the country. And so that's how it works. And also even with the restaurant, we've had someone in the community come to the church and give us $10,000 just because they liked what we were doing in the community. And so again, when the people see it and they believe in it, the funds and the resources begin to come.
I think that's powerful, Josh. Before we go ahead, Elder Preston. You got one more?
One quick question. So did you wait for the church to buy in as a whole?
No. No,
because see, what you're saying, you want us to get involved with all of this, but in the board meeting, we're going to be spending a whole hour talking about what we can't do.
No, we can't. And time. We can't waste time to do God's work. So what I would say is, if God puts something in your heart, you go ahead. You move with that. Let's just make sure it's biblical now. But I mean, you move with that, right? And what we have found is that the church has really gravitated towards this project as they see what's happening. So we have actually involved many members of our church in this intervention. And in this way, we're actually doing ministry together as a church.
Now, Dr. Sterling, I'm looking at your name, Dr. Sterling. You said you went into the CEO of the hospital.
Right.
That's where you worked?
No, So I'm the research director of the Peanut Institute. I'm a nutrition scientist. So the CEO, I just happened to connect with him over LinkedIn and then just decided to walk in. Just interesting connections.
Well, Dr. Sterling, we just appreciate you. For those who are in the chat, let's affirm her and we appreciate the vision. We know we got you. We thank you for your background in it. We appreciate what you've done, what you and Pastor Nelson are doing. We've heard it. You all just got up and did the work. We appreciate it. Partnerships, connecting, and creating a base. So we really appreciate it, Dr. Sterling. Thank you so much for being a part briefly with us tonight.
Thank you.
Elder Preston, man, that was truly truly a blessing. We appreciate her and what she's done. So much of what health is involved. So Pastor Nelson, man, shout out to you, Doc, for having someone with you, man. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Can I talk? Just empowering, man. They doing the work, just empowering.
Can I chime in for just a second? So Dr. Nelson, you did not have the church's buy-in from the onset, but how did it matriculate? Did the people start to get on board after a while? Where is it now as far as involvement is concerned versus the inception?
Talking about me, Kely? Yeah. So, I mean, at first it was just kind of questioning what was going on, but now, members are ordering, from the restaurant weekly. Some are on meal plans. Some are actually helping in coaching in the intervention that Dr. Sterling is doing. And so they're actually, elders and health leaders and from a church and, deaconesses, they're actually, now a part of the intervention that has not been voted on by the church or anything. They've been involved. And I was being very careful with a lot of things, but as things continue to go through, they begin to buy in and buy in more and more. I mean, to where now people are helping church deacons are opening the church for us. I mean, so it's just happening because they're seeing the benefit of it and all that we're doing, and just seeing all that's coming in from it. You can't help but support it and see what God is doing.
Major.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. We're excited for our next specialist, Elder Preston. She is a legend to many. She's not a stranger to most, or maybe some. But Pastor, tell us who we have next, all the way from Huntsville, Doc.
Donna Goodman.
That's right. A nutritionist at her heart, born to be one, called to the kingdom to be one. I sent my daughter to Oakwood, who used to major in American Deli, but then came back cooking all type of healthy meals, and you've been a blessing. Donna, tell us, what can we do in our local churches?
In our local churches, we can focus on the fact that we are the church. And I think COVID has really reminded us that it's more than the building. Yeah. And if we would admit to ourselves that we are the church, sitting in our homes, wearing masks and being very careful right now, then we're under commission by God to make a difference in the community wherever he's placed us. And our previous guest, I want to connect with her because she's like my spirit, everything that she said. But if you are where you are, then that means God has something for you to do where you are. And if you face that and stop trying to figure out what other folk are doing or what else we could do, figure out what it is you want to do. In my own experience, my husband and I now own Lifestyle Therapeutics, which is a physical therapy and wellness center in Huntsville, Alabama, where he specializes in therapies for people who have neuropathies. And he's also trained in whole person care. I'm the NPH Health Education Wellness Coach who coaches the people who come through the clinic in order to improve their health. And I teach them plant-based cooking. So if you don't have a medical background or a health background like my husband and I have, what do you do? Well, first of all, don't wait till you get sick to start living healthy. It wasn't until I got breast cancer that I had to really look carefully at things that I was living and doing. I was working at Morehouse in Atlanta, School of Medicine, teaching people how not to get cancer. And then I was diagnosed with cancer. And it was because of my desire to want to live and teach others this information that I asked God to heal me. And then I made all the lifestyle changes. And of course, then you need to be an example of what you want others to engage in or accept. That doesn't take anything for you to do except a decision. And I'm talking about those 7 steps to better health, which we know is the laws of health. Go to bed, get to stepping, pile on the plant foods, take a deep breath, hydrate, take a break, and then turn it over to Jesus. Those are things that you can just talk about in your interaction with your neighbor, when you go to the doctor's office, when you're on Zoom meetings with your loved ones and friends talking about whatever's going on, when you are having conversations with loved ones after someone has passed away or someone has been diagnosed with COVID and they're in the hospital and they have all these comorbidities. This is a time when you literally can just share your faith about what you believe. Then offer what you have to people as if it is a gift from God. Because a lot of times in our community, we've argued about this so much rather than saying, this is God's greatest wish for us. His greatest wish is that we prosper and be in good health. And so in these times, if you can share with somebody, you know what, you've got COVID and my family has faced it personally. I'm speaking in first person and I'm watching folk get sick and recover and die and all of that. And so I want you to know that God's greatest wish for you is that you prosper and be in good health. And this is how I did it, or this is what I believe, and this is how you can do it. And then the church, meaning the individuals who are members in Rennes, Georgia, or I used to live in Thompson and I didn't even have a church in Thompson. I used to have to go to Rennes or Augusta to church. So then you have members who are the church who are literally becoming the healers in the community. And that, I think, is an easy way for anybody to do it. And you don't have to wait until you have a training or something. What has God done for you? Do you feel better when you sleep? Do you feel better when you eat better? Do you feel better when you forgive someone who has angered you or violated you? And those are the things that God is using for us to share with others during these last days in order to improve their health. What are some resources that you can look for? You can look for free resources. I am on Instagram every Wednesday at 8:30 Central Time at Still Shouting, talking about Wellness Wednesday. So you can find people like me, Cynthia Payon, one of the members of Virtue is on there. The slave doctors are on there, the Slave Project. This is all free, where you can just sit down, press the button, join in the conversation. You can literally type in your comments and get questions answered. You can also go to YouTube channels. We have a YouTube channel, Lifestyle Therapeutics, in which are about 30 or 40 videos. And I haven't put a whole lot more because I really am focusing on some specific things. There are 8 shows from the show Cooking Up Good Health that aired on Hope TV. And then there's some other things that I have done personally that a person can walk through. And so when I see stuff on Facebook now and people are saying, have a watch party with your friends. When I read Southern Work, Sister White talked a lot about how our people need to see things. It's not as easy to just tell them. They need to visualize it. Put them in front of the television or the computer with this health information. Log on to Lifestyle Therapeutics on YouTube, and you have 8 lessons right there, 30-minute shows, and then some other things. And if they're interested in buying a book to go along with that, there's a book that goes with that, Cooking Up Good Health. You could also purchase other healthy books that are beneficial to people. There are a number that I have written, but there are also others. And what you want to do is promote the things that we believe, because when you mix it up with other stuff, then there's confusion. And as I'm watching Dr. Josh and Sister Sterling talk, there are some specific things that we are presenting to people from the perspective of the Creator God, who we are honoring, and not the animal that we are honoring. And it's more than just eating plant-based foods. It's living in a way that honors the Creator God so that we can have health restored. And when you think about it, Exodus 15:26 says, if you hearken to the voice of the Lord your God, do what's right in his sight, keep his commandments, give ear to his something else that he says to do, he'll put none of these diseases on you that he's put upon the Egyptians. And when I think about COVID and the comorbidities that people are experiencing, every single one of them is what they found in the pyramids, in the corpses. And so the very diseases that we're experiencing and increasing our death rate from COVID is what God said we're not supposed to have. And for me personally, I came out of breast cancer, convicted about what I should do, how I should do it, ready to change the world. And the Holy Spirit said, go and talk to your brother and your daddy.
Sister Goodman, I want to you've given us a lot of content. I want to kind of roll back just a quick second.
Yes.
I want to get to this. And when I say legend, you all know I don't just mean it. Sister Goodman has fed most of me and my colleagues in our college years with her vegan cooking and lifestyle changes. I want to talk about churches and community real quick. We're seeing with everybody being on Zoom, all of these cooking classes, live cooking shows. We're seeing churches trying to get into that bag. Can you talk to us about the impact of doing some cooking things over Zoom that you do on YouTube? Can churches be a part of something like that where they can present stuff to the community? Talk to us about that for a second.
You can literally go to our YouTube channel, Lifestyle Therapeutics, and click on one of 30 and sit there and watch it. And I walk you through how you can do that. We also have some things that we're talking with South Atlanta Conference about how to shop for better health, where a person can literally sit and watch these videos in the comfort of their home or with their families and participate in it. If you connect a recipe with the demonstration, then you can do it individually on your own.
That's good.
If you want to do something in a group, that is something that you could set up. And I have had people use the cooking show and share it from a specific location and beam it out to other folks so that they can participate in it as well. Absolutely, you can do that. And then if you participate in the Instagram lives or the Facebook lives, you can go along with me. Just yesterday, I demonstrated how to make lentil soup from start to finish. And people are asking me questions as we go along. We're talking, I have an online course that I'm doing that people can register for. And once a week, I talk to them live and teach them and show them how to do stuff. At our clinic, every day, every patient gets something that they can eat. And so when you hear that your neighbor's not doing so well and you go over and pray, because when a person gets sick, they're not supposed to call the doctor, they're supposed to call Yah. And the elders are supposed to lay their hands on them. And so the church members can go with you or be that person and take them a healthier version. Because what I am learning, when I lived in Atlanta, I partnered with the Office of Minority Health, and we did an intervention with First Day churches in Atlanta, 5 of them. And they were there for everything, and their prayers were being answered and their lives were being changed. And it's 20 years later, and I still hear from people who learned in those settings, but from the church. And so the Bible says that greater are we supposed to do than what the disciples did. And now all of us are in a place where we can't do a whole lot. And God has us sitting where someone is waiting for you to call them and say, you know what? Walmart has so-and-so on sale this week. I want to come over and show you how to do it.
Yeah. So you're saying, and we may be repeating, or I may be asking you to repeat yourself, but just bear with me. So what you're saying is that we don't have to wait for this great, big evangelistic meeting.
No.
All I have to do is reach out to my neighbor and tell my neighbor, hey, listen, I know you have high blood pressure. So I found something that you can watch. And if you enjoy that, come back and I can. Okay. And let me ask a question. And I'm sure hundreds are already asking. So Donna, can you send us a list of your presentations and we can have it at the office as a database and shared with the constituents of
I'm sure there's a way where we can make that happen. And because I'm a health educator, I don't want to just teach them, here's how you can get your blood pressure down. I want to connect it to the Creator God. That's the other piece of this. When you're praying with, I have watched 3 family members die. So I know what this is about in eternity. And when God has us all in this place right now, there's a lady who reached out to me today. She sent me a 20-minute audio of her visit to the doctor so that I could listen to it and interpret what the doctor was saying and tell her what she needs to do in order to get better.
Okay, so I don't have a MPH and I'm nervous talking to my neighbor. So can you or would you, for South Atlantic, put together a series where any member can call his or her friends around the table or invite them to a chat room like we're having and share those things? Could you do that?
I'd be happy
to do that for us.
I'd be happy to do that.
You heard her. We're going to do that. We're going to put that series together. And so you can do evangelism health-wise in your home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm telling you, patients come and they get well. And then they go and tell people, and I'm sure Pastor Nelson knows this, it's easier usually to get women to come together. But when we're talking about our people, African Americans who have all of these disparate diseases, especially the men, when it comes to erectile dysfunction and all those sorts of stuff, this stuff turns around. And when you get this stuff turned around, then people want to hear what else you have to say to them.
Oh, that would be included in the presentation, all of that?
We can make that happen.
He's trying to get live on camera to get the whole
thing. He just went up 1,000 people.
We had a patient come to the office and the husband was in denial. He didn't say anything about the ED, but it was clear that that was a problem. And so my husband talked to he and the wife is saying, yeah, that's a problem. So we started teaching them these 7 simple steps to better health. And within 2 to 3 weeks, everybody's smiling when they come to the clinic because stuff is turning right around. And we don't necessarily think about this as important to our spiritual lives. But when couples are happy physically in their bedroom, there's joy throughout the house. I'm telling you.
And you're getting down the deep.
and you're healing people. You're healing people. And that's what we want to empower our members to do. All you have to do literally is follow these 7 steps. And then, of course, if you have some other questions that are more medical or health related, there are plenty of professionals right in your conference that can do, that sort of answering. And then I have a whole resource list of other people that they could access as well.
Pastor Scott, you were going to say something before we move on?
I was just going to say, don't miss it, because somebody's watching this and kind of taking this information for themselves. But if you've ever given away a book, if you've passed out a tract, if you ever had courage enough to do that, then this is so much better, because everybody's not going to read that book you give them, but they'll watch something.
Right.
And so here we're talking about a whole catalog of stuff that people can watch. So you need to go look at it and then find out who you can share it with. And sharing it is just about clicking some stuff. Like all you have to do is click some stuff. You ain't got to go knock on their door. You ain't got to get in their face. Like, click some stuff and share this.
That's it. Watch people, communities. When Jesus was on earth, he would come to a town and heal everybody in the town. I lived in South Atlantic Conference for over 20 years. I worked in South Carolina and Georgia in public health. And I know these people and these communities and what their customs are and what their questions are. And when you roll up on them talking about you can prevent a foot from being amputated, your breast cancer doesn't have to come back. We've already talked about the ED. The headaches are gone. If I get COVID, it's not going to be as bad because my immune system is stronger. Not only do they want to hear it, God has them in a place where they need to hear it, and you have the answer. Yeah. You're not part of the vegan philosophy. You are on a mission for the Creator God to make people whole, and that's totally different.
Let me slip in this quick commercial, Humphreys. Hey, I'm going to contact Sister Goodman this week.
Yeah.
And we're going to roll out a time frame in which these presentations will be available to our members, because what you're telling us, so many of us are guilty, waiting for the big meeting. That's what we've been waiting on. We've been waiting for the pastor and this 3-week meeting and And what you're telling us is evangelism can be reduced to my living room, my computer, sharing it with a friend.
And they overcome by the word of your testimony.
That's it. That's it. Wow. Sister Goodman, we really appreciate it. We wish we could be on much longer. We want to get to some other specialists we know. Give us one more time real quick. Where can we find you on Instagram and YouTube? Tell us before you go.
Instagram @StillShoutin, StillShoutin, YouTube Lifestyle Therapeutics, spelled TIX, and our website is lifestyletherapeutics.com.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for being a part. Thank you. We affirm you in the chat. We're thankful. Listen, we've got over 200 who are watching us live right now from our platforms. Once again, we're giving away $50 tonight. Elder Preston has made it clear. We're going to bless those who are on. What you got to do is be in the YouTube on South Atlantic page, YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe and put #subscribe so we can find you and we can bless somebody as well. Next up, guys, Pastor Kely, man, I'm excited. Pastor Kely, for those who watched, he was our gracious host on our last Extreme Makeover, did an outstanding job. But for those that don't know, he is an evangelist at heart. I mean, he is a mighty preacher, but he has even made the shift and the pivot to what's going on with COVID-19. So, Pastor, you got some great things you did with the drive-in movies and things of that nature, activities. Dr. Floor is yours, man. Tell us and bring on your guest as well.
Hey, yeah. We praise God for what we've heard so far, man. This is exactly what we're talking about when we speak about friendship evangelism and when we speak about the idea of reaching people in order to set the stage to eventually bring them the gospel. Christ met people where they were. He mingled with them. He ministered to their needs. And then he gave them the gospel. He bade them come. And so where are people right now? They're in our healthcare facilities. They're sick. They're enfeebled. They're in pain. They're uncomfortable. So when we have the health message, when we have a way out, healthy living, that's meeting people where they are. But what else do people love to do? They love entertainment.
Yeah.
They love entertainment. Tent revivals and crusades they worked because it was different. We didn't have more than 13 channels. And so when you're driving by and you see a tent, you don't know if it's a circus, you don't know what's going on. You want to be a part of what's going on. Now it's not as, it can work. I'm not saying it doesn't work anymore, but we have to work a little bit harder to meet people where they are when it comes to entertainment so that we can mingle with them so that we could eventually give them the gospel. So at this point, I want to introduce to you guys my AY youth young adult leader, the phenomenal, the inspirational, and she has just been great with being intuitive and innovative. Sister Ryan Jones, a Charlotte native. And one of the things that we did during COVID was a drive-in movie theater. That was her brainchild, and she kind of put that together. And again, the main thing I want you to focus on, as Sister Ryan gives us a kind of step-by-step of what we did, the main thing I want us to focus on is the mingling, the rubbing shoulders with people who won't come to your church, but meeting them where they are, enjoying what they like. And go ahead, Sister Ryan.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Like they said, I hail from Trinity in Charlotte, North Carolina, youth leader there. And I guess I've been dubbed kind of strategy/social engagement leader as well during this COVID time. So as the strategy teams come together, we have thought of many ideas on how to actually get people. We focused on service and making sure that service was up to par and we could stream and all those things. But we realized that we were still missing a piece, and that was the actual engagement with the people. We were, missing the in-person engagement, but trying to figure out how to navigate those waters during COVID and do it safely. And so we thought of the drive-in movie theater idea. I know that's been something that has popped up and resurrected over this season. And so it was really just a time for everybody to come together, watch a movie that everybody could enjoy. I think we watched Spider-Man or something really simple so that the kids could enjoy it as well as the adults. And we rented a huge, I think a 20-foot inflatable movie screen. And we had someone come out, set it up. Myself and the rest of the hospitality team, the members of the strategy team, we had popcorn. We kind of made it just like a feel of a movie theater. So we had popcorn, we had movie candy boxes. We had fried Oreos going in the back. That's the pastor's favorite. So of course we had to have that. So we really had a really good time, and the people coming out, and even when they were in their cars, just looking out and seeing how people gathered just outside of that circle in the parking lot and other areas, just feeling happy and just being grateful enough to be around each other was really a good feeling. So that's really
Ms. Jones, can I ask you a question? Because you said something that I want Elder Kely to chime in as well. And I know the answer, but just so that those who are watching, it's interesting that you said that you didn't, some people say, well, why not just watch just a Christian movie and just play things, that are just, that's always Christ-centered. Tell us what the importance of why you chose a movie that the community would want to be a part of and watch.
Because it was like I think a word that has been mentioned throughout this part has been friendship. And the easiest way to meet people where they are is to be a friend to them. So, and even as Christians, we have to understand that we know that we all don't watch just all Christian movies all the time. And so being able to take that same sentiment, right, and use that, we're not going overboard, right? We're not going, no cursing or anything like that, but something that has been vetted so that everyone could enjoy. I believe that was a good point to bring them to get people to come out as well. So Friday night movie, we got Facing the Giants. We have all those good things that we can still do. But I think it was important for the engagement part and the fact that we wanted to reach people more than just our own audience to come out. So.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask too, how did you engage the people when they came? What was kind of some of the instructions? Because one of the issues that I think sometimes happens is you have events and they feel like it's great, the event worked and it happened well, but how do you then move it more towards like action where you actually, follow up with people or actually get to kind of touch the people who were there?
I think I'll be honest, we really didn't do too much of that the first time as far as like, hey, how do we follow up with those people and things like that? Because it was something that was kind of put out quickly. But I think going forward, it would be really nice to maybe add those hashtags and to say, hey guys, as you go throughout the night, take some pictures and put, TWC movie night. And so that way you can use that. You can go back to those pictures and reach out to those people and say, hey, did you enjoy yourself? I didn't get to see you that night, but I'm so glad that you came. Did you like that? Did you, do you have a movie that you want to suggest the next time or whatever? Do you have any feedback? Would you like to see it happen again? I think that is where, I think that's where I can go with it, but I really didn't put that much thought into it the first time because it was just kind of a first time thing. But no, that's a really good idea to make sure that we're following up and keeping in contact with those people that do come out.
And we heard it was a huge success. Talk to us about the how real quick, the how. Screen, was it through the radio? Right. Give us how.
Okay, yeah. So we had full-blown drive-through experience, definitely a learning experience. We had somebody come in and set up everything. In my mind, I thought it would be easier to have someone come in, set up and do that, but they actually had issues. They had technical issues. They had a piece that was missing, so that kind of prolonged us from getting set up and going as smooth in the first go round. But what we did learn from that is we bought our own, and for the very exact amount that we paid somebody to come in and set up and do that was the exact same price that we could go and purchase our own. So once we got our own screen, you realize that you really have all the other equipment. You have a speaker that you're already using, right? You have projectors that you're already using for your church, and luckily enough, someone in our who was there actually had an FM transmitter. And it was really from there, it was plug and play. We just, gave a shout out to everybody to tune into that station. And overall, I mean, it was maybe about a $500 night. I mean, after everything.
That's good.
Everything was $500.
That's good.
The stream, the everything?
Mm-hmm, everything. All the food.
The Amazon links.
All those good things. Mm-hmm. And so, and if we choose to do it again, and we will do it again now that things are warming up, it won't even cost that much because now we have a screen of our own. We have all of that equipment, and all we would need now is just snacks and food. So
you purchased the stream. You didn't even just rent it. You purchased it?
No, we purchased it.
Yeah. And so the initial impact, I want to drive this home because you're saying that the average church can do this.
Absolutely.
And a budget of $500 just about would take care of everything.
Absolutely.
And then the second go around is less than that.
I'll say this: I am a planning person, so I love to go the extra mile sometimes. But if you tell somebody to bring their own snacks and their own food, it can even be cheaper than that. If you want to make an initial investment, I think the screen itself was needed.
Wait a minute. No, you didn't sell the food
in this $500.
You gave the food away.
The Oreo cookies was in this. Wow.
We did ask for donations so that we could just be able to put on those events again. But during COVID, we just wanted to give people the time to come out and really enjoy themselves with no stress.
I will come out and say that on I believe it's going to be the 14th of this month, because after talking to Pastor Kely, give me an idea. My church in Little Washington, we bought the screen ourselves. And we're planning to put on a drive-in movie night for our Boys and Girls Club there because of what you all are doing. So based on what you all are doing, even though they're in Charlotte, they may have a larger church. They've given a tool now that any church can do something like this. So Sister Jones, this is gold right here, guys. I'm just very impressed, man. Well done.
Let me jump in to say what Sister Ryan is too humble to say, and that is that we had a lot of visitors. It wasn't just our members that showed up. We had a lot of people from the community. We had a lot of friends of our church or family members that came out that night. And so,
Pastor, how did you get the word out to the community?
You just announcement, social media.
Facebook events was probably key to getting that, to get the event shared. And of course, everybody was like, movie night. And just from there, it kind of just rolled from social media.
Elaborate on Facebook events. How does that work?
You go in at, go to your events page, add in all the information, add in your date, time, if you want to set reminders, different things like that. And then you can share it out to your whole organization. And then from there, it's all about, using the other avenues as church and prayer meeting, things like that. Make sure that you're telling your members to share it with their friends, because of course, what kid doesn't want a movie night, especially during COVID, parents kind of stressed out, kids are looking for something to do. So it was cool to see. I think even one truck pulled up with the, kids loaded up with, lawn chairs and blankets and things like that. So, you can stay in the car, you can stay out. It just gave everybody a good feel. People pulled in and, kind of decorated their trunks and brought blankets and pillows and things like that. So you can make it really creative. You can, who can decorate their trunk the best. You can make it a contest. You can kind of get as crazy as you want with it. So
Sister Jones, let me put you on the spot. First of all, this is awesome.
Awesome.
And I'm thinking about, church of, active, 20 members, 25 members, and they want to do this. We're about to move into spring and everybody's dying to get out of the house as it is. Would you be willing? I don't want to put you on the spot now, but would you be willing if I have a small church and say, Pastor Preston, we want to do this, and they call the office, can I put them in contact with you and Pastor Kely to walk them through how to do that first one around?
Absolutely.
Would you be willing to do that?
Absolutely. And I probably got some tips and tricks too on how not to do it the first go around.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
And Sister, we did the ice cream truck, which was very good for our youth and our children because there were all age groups there. And so she was very creative in making sure that we cater to everybody.
Vegan ice cream? Wow.
The rapper was probably
You know what? Because it was an ice cream truck, I'm pretty sure I do believe that they did have an option there. Or they had
fix it for the pastor. Yeah. Pastor Kely talking about fried Oreos. That's what he cares about.
Y'all put us right after the nutrition.
Yeah, this was good, guys. I'm excited. Pastor Kely, hats off to you. I want for the pastors who are watching that you notice that Pastor Kely has one of his members on his, as we've seen others. Pastor, you don't have to do it by yourself. You got people in your congregations that have ideas, that have tools, and that are deep into it. And so, Sister Jones, we want to say thank you so much. We appreciate you for being a part on tonight. Wonderful time. Wonderful.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Brethren, man, we've had a great time. Pastor Kely, man, hats off, Doc, to you, man.
Listen, man, my church is so easy to pastor. All I got to do is show up, and the folk are ready to work. They're evangelism minded, and especially when you begin to think outside of the box and outside of the traditional means, they surprise me sometimes. So praise God for where I am.
Yeah, all of us are considered to be in our own dish. We all know each other well, community pastors. We love getting out, but we know the importance, Pastor Preston, of our youth and our young people. As Pastor Kely mentioned, doing this thing for even for the youth to see it outside, for families to get out. We know that mentorship in the community is major. We know it is. We know that our kids especially have struggled in the season of COVID. And so tonight, I'm excited to talk about our young people some more. This is our last specialist for tonight, but he's got some great stuff. We're excited to have the Associate Youth Director of the South Central Conference. Pastor Herbert is here. Pastor Herbert, man, how are you? We're thankful that you're here, Doc. Thank you for being part of Extreme Makeover Part 2.
Man, I'm honored to be. Sis, I'm still muted.
You good to go? No, you good to go.
No, we hear you.
Okay. Man, I'm just so blessed to be a part of such an esteemed a panel of powerful preachers around here, man. I am not worthy. I'm truly the least of these around here, man. I'm truly. I need to. Whew, man, y'all just give me some oil from over there, man. Just give me some oil.
Hey, Pastor, you getting to know you, talking about with you with you and Aaron, Pastor Abernathy shared a lot about you. We're excited for what you're doing in your community, but we want to know, COVID has been tough. I'll admit, as a pastor, getting through to our youth in this time has been a struggle. You have managed to not only maintain but keep going a mentorship program. Take some time. The floor is yours. Talk to us about how you got it started and what can churches do to kind of add those things to their church.
Okay. Well, how I got started is because I was a teacher. That's my background. My background is in education. So for me, getting into mentoring and working with young people, that's always been a passion, because when I grew up, I only had one African-American teacher my whole life. So for me, I wanted to make sure that I was going to be that person that I could connect with other people that look like them. So I got into it, and that's how I got into teaching. But when I got into pastoring, I was like, I needed something to continue to fulfill me. And I know someone else was talking about your purpose, and when you have your purpose and your calling, you got to continue to go out there and seek and find it. So when I was in my first district down in Woodville, I was just one day, my neighbor was a pastor, and he said, why don't you come up to the school? We do some mentoring there. And I was like, okay. So I got in there and we would pray for the kids. We would not only pray for the kids, we would go out there and just have conversations with them. And once that began to take place, I began to work with the principals. I began to talk with the principals at the school, and they would give me access to their students in small groups where I would actually do some one-on-one training with them. And by dealing with them, I began to go from the local school in Natchez. Then I went to Fayette, and I had one of my church members actually worked at the high school and introduced me to the principal, assistant principal. And they were like, man, we need all the help we can get. So for me, it was more about just using my gifting and my talent in my area and say, this is what I'm going to do. And from there, I developed a curriculum called Think, because what I realized, even when I was teaching, is that when students are in school, they're programmed to do certain things. They're trained, but they're not given the opportunity to think a lot. That's where a lot of our kids don't test well in cognitive test or reasoning test. So I wanted to just, I want to ask questions and say, what do you think about this? What does this picture say? What are you going to do in this situation? So my curriculum is based upon what their experiences in life and going from there. So once I moved from Mississippi, it got crazy. I got to Franklin and I started working with the YMCA, started working with the Boys and Girls Club. And I just used to go in there and help tutoring after school. And then I started working with the juveniles. And I would go to the juvenile center and talk to the kids and work with them. I got in and I started implementing my curriculum. And now I developed a 501c3 that's called Be Great Ministries, and it's based upon juveniles and teaching them how to cook, but also teaching them life skills. And within this, I get to introduce God to them, but not in the form of just saying, I'm going to preach to you. I get to actually show them how to live. I get to show them how to interact with people, how to have conflict resolution. So for me, the first thing I want someone in any church, especially when you're talking about mentoring, you got to have the passion for it. I'm gonna tell you this: if you don't have that passion for kids, don't do it, because they're going to see right through it that it's not authentic. They're going to see that it's fake and that you're forcing a not a real relationship. This is something that you got to have gifting for. That's just like telling someone with a bad attitude to go stand at your church door to greet people. You're not going to do it because you're going to turn people away. And when you're dealing with young people who are really trying to identify who they are, what they believe in, where they try to fit in, you can't have any type of fakeness with them. Even if your fakeness, even if you're trying to be real with them, and if it's not authentic, they're going to see right through it. So my first thing is, if it's not your gifting, don't even go down that path. I really believe that people have to stay in their lane and know their talent and their purpose. So when you're looking at this, I know y'all asked me this question. I'm gonna probably just jump all over this place.
Go ahead, Doc. That's fine. Go ahead.
But if you're a small church, because I have small church, I always tell my members, I don't want you doing something that this is not your talent. If God didn't give you this talent, I don't want you in there doing it, because you're just going to burn out eventually and you're going to hate doing what you do. And I said, you need to find, if this is your lane, you're going to be able to do this for free. My mentoring started for free. It started for free because that's what I love to do. I love the young people. And when I began to do it 3-4 years, now I'm getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
Come on. So, Kaggia, I saw you smile right there. I saw you smile right there. So that's what I'm saying. When you get in your gift, and God will bless your talents. He will expand your territory on those things. And I'm just looking forward to what God is going to do more. So even during this season of COVID, it's about still connecting with them. It's about building relationships with them, because I had one of my students that passed away last year, 15 years old. I'm still connecting with the parents, but I was able to be there for the students at this high school. Wow. This was their friend, 15 years old, accidental overdose.
Wow.
I was there at the prayer vigil. I was there at the funeral. I was there, or not the funeral, but the viewing. I was there, visiting and checking on them, sending text messages, going around, walking in their neighborhoods, just checking on them. And what happened was they saw, and I shared, and they saw me, but I saw them more importantly. I saw their pain. I saw them where they were at. And that's what mentoring is all about. It's about connecting.
And B, it's about, I know it's about consistency too. You didn't just go in for some big day, like one event, or come in twice a year, but like for the Boys and Girls Club, for the schools, for wherever you went, I'm sure you went consistently. But tell us about the initial meeting, because we have a lot of people within our churches that like working with young people. But tell us about the official meeting, like when you went in and talked to the principal or whoever you talked to. How did you initiate starting these programs?
Yeah,
starting these mentoring opportunities.
Well, like I said, the background is education. So I had notes and jotted down curriculum. My first thing was curriculum. What do I have to offer? If you don't have anything to offer, you cannot get in front of the principal and say, hey, I just want to come up here and work with the kids. No, you have to say, what are some of the things that you can meet the kids at? What are your expertise at? So for me, it was like, what can I offer the kids? Well, for one, I can help them be great. So must be great ministries. I wanted to make sure they had to understand a lot of the financial, a lot of the things that are not taught in the school education, social justice. I wanted to talk about healthy eating. I wanted to talk about exercise, conflict resolution, because here's what you have in school. You have a time that they have to teach their kids. And many teachers do not want that time interrupted. So I was able to get them during lunch, and they will come eat with me and say, hey, come on. And I was able to work with them one-on-one. So the first thing is you got to have something to offer. If you don't have anything to offer, you're not going to do it, because if you're going to people who are educated, you better come to them in an educated manner.
Man, I really like this, man, and this is so needed across our schools and in our neighborhoods, man. This is big, man. This is crucial. And so you said the curriculum is called Think. Is that what it's called?
Think.
Man, we got to get our hands on that, man. How do we?
Yeah, you know, Preston was going to ask.
Yeah, you know I was going to. You know, it's coming.
Hey, look, it's coming, but I do believe in capitalism also.
No, man. We gotta pay for this, man. Real talk, man. This is valuable stuff, though. Really, I mean, I think it's amazing. And go ahead.
Let me go break down Think. Think is a 12-week course.
Yeah.
And I wanted to break it up like that because when you're in school, you have 18 weeks. but I didn't want to have every single week doing something that's going to be boring them out. No, I wanted to make sure we're having a couple of games. I want to make sure that they're learning from the games. But then next week we got to come back. I got their attention. Now let's talk about something serious. What's going on at home? What's your home life look like?
Yeah.
What are some of the real issues? And many of the topics or the curriculum that I have developed is not because of my ideas. It's what I've had conversations with them. And that's the main thing that we have to understand when we're dealing with young people. They're just repeating what we've gone through. Many times when we get to the age, we forget about our past.
Yeah.
So what I do is,
wow,
I haven't always been a pastor. I was out there running around, doing a lot of stuff. Like I said, I was in Atlanta, but I was making sure that I connected on them. And it wasn't, and I told them the truth about my past. And it wasn't about glorifying sin. No, I wanted them to see what sin looked like. I wanted them to see the effects of sin and how it distracted me. And now they can see a difference with how I was procrastinating, complaining all of the time. But now I can say I'm focused and I can get them to the next level.
So Pastor, when is it coming out, man? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
Let me talk with the preacher. Let me pray with the preacher.
So I'm actually going to be finishing it up probably this summer because I'm going to be partnering with a church in Franklin, and I'm going to have a building that I can do this every single day of the week. I was doing it once a week. I was doing the program in Franklin, Tennessee, every Tuesday through the YMCA and the YCAP. And then on Wednesdays, I would do Boys and Girls Club. I would do tutoring with them. So, but now I'm going to be able to do this full-time, get grants. I have someone working with me to fill out grants, to get money and to pay for all of this. And the church and the church that I'm going to be working with is right there in the Black community where all of the needs are. And I will have access to the kitchen, food, and anything else I need.
Yo, Pastor Herbert, man.
For anybody that's thinking, about the spiritual side of things, like you can't do good and it be wasted. So you start helping these and working with some young people, stuff rubs off. You don't even have to worry about going in there preaching. As soon as you start mentoring young people, they want to know what church you go to. I mean, they want to come, and you ain't got to ask them. They want to be there, but you ain't even have to bring it up. I mean, when you start helping people from the bottom of your heart, you don't have to preach because that preaches.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the gospel. I mean, we try so hard to say we want to do this event and do that, but it's really like John 4, meeting the woman at the well, meeting them where they're at, and just having a real conversation.
That's all.
And we forget that our young people they're emerging adults. They have a lot of stuff on their plate, and a lot of things on their mind. Treat them as that. We look down. And let me make this very clear about my past. I grew up in a very legalistic, traditional church in Tennessee. It pushed me and everybody I knew out of the church because they did not want to hear us. I had one person, maybe a couple of people, aside from my parents. My mom was, I love her to death and everything, but she's apologized for being legalistic. But she's helped. She's turned a new leaf now. But everything that they did, they made us feel bad. Like when we didn't want to wear ties to church, we wanted to wear khakis. We wanted to wear Timbs, or, we didn't want to wear suits no more. We're 13, 14, like we want to be ourselves, and we were not allowed. So by the time we got old enough to get out of the church, we were gone. So my college years, my young adult years, I'm running the streets, doing whatever I wanted to do. But in the middle of that, I knew I always needed God. And I just wish that I had someone, when I was in my high school years, when I was seeking, when I was trying to find myself, that was there for me, like I'm trying to be for these young people. And let me make this very clear. And you said it, okay. my whole thing is the people that I'm mentoring to are the community. The community is my church.
Yeah.
They are my church.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is I have a friend that works with me and within this. And he says, man, I ain't being nobody else's pastor. I said, I'm going to be their pastor because they're going to be my church one day. Because I know if I invest in the future, eventually the future will invest in me. So everything that I do is not just about now, it's about planting seeds for down the road. I may not even see the fruit of my labor, but I know the seeds that I planted, somebody's going to get it. So for me, I'm looking at the young people, non-Adventists, as saying, these are going to be my future church. These are going to be my future leaders. These are the ones that when I'm going to need something down the road, they're going to be business leaders or they're going to have jobs. I can go back and reach out to them and they can vouch for me.
Yeah.
See, we're looking now. We're looking present. I'm saying, I don't know what God is going to do. I'm just going to throw my seeds. You know, I'm throwing my seeds, and wherever they land, they're going to land.
Doc, man, we're thankful for tonight, man. You have ended this thing for us well tonight. You challenged us, you charged us. We want to say, as men on the screen, we are proud of you, another Black man who is willing to get back into the community and get this stuff done. But thank you for sharing tonight. We know that Josh has made a stake on some of your material, but Elder Preston will, I'm sure, will be reaching out officially. Josh, no. Don't listen to Josh. Just talk to Preston.
Hey, like I said, I have no problem, but I want to say this real quick.
Sure.
Just for some ideas for the small churches.
Yeah,
look
please.
and see what's available in your community already. If you have a YMCA club, if that's what the Boys and Girls Club, go there. If they have an AU area where they go practice and play, go there. Pass out water and be consistent, as he said. Go out there and start developing relationships. If these kids need some shoes, hey, get them some shoes or something. Develop a relationship with them one by one. Then, like I said, if you need a curriculum, there's plenty of curriculums on there. You can go to My Brother's Keeper. That's Barack Obama's for his boys. And you can go out there. I mean, you may not like it, Josh.
Think sounds better. Think sounds a little better. I don't know. Brother Keeper, it's all right. It's all right.
but I'm just saying you don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Sure.
The wheel is already out there. So when you're saying you want my curriculum, mine is merging what's already out there to what's mine and make sure that it works with them. So for 3 years, I'm working with the kids as they're saying what works with them. What do they like? And some things bomb. Just like a sermon. But you know what? Some things is like a success. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
When I had them debate about social justice, when I had them debate about presidents, you know, when I put a name tag on their back and they got to go around and describe themselves, they like the interaction. And you want to know the best game that they love? Musical chairs.
Wow. Still to this day.
Hey, anybody got this?
That's old, man. That's old stuff.
Hey, but look, musical chairs, here's how I used it. Musical chairs was about you have to be ready to move.
Yeah. Because
in the world, when that music goes, you got to keep going. But when it stops, you got to be ready to take action. Because nobody, by you not paying attention, by you slipping, someone else is going to take your seat.
Yeah,
and that's where you have to let them know.
That'll preach. I see. Kely, like, I'm gonna write that down.
Kely, you can call you to preach, man. We didn't want you to come on and preach to us. No,
that'll preach.
You'll miss your but like I was saying, you'll miss your blessing. You miss your calling if you're not paying attention. Just like in musical chairs.
Doc, man, we appreciate you tonight. You've given us a lot. You know that already we're going to invite you back to some of our churches. So we appreciate you. You see us there, folks. Folks in the chat, would you just affirm Pastor Herbert and the mission and vision that he's doing? Doc, thanks again, man, for being a part tonight, man. We appreciate you, man.
Hey, man, appreciate y'all. Be safe and love y'all, man. Blessings to you.
Blessings, man. Blessings. Gentlemen, wow, tonight was powerful. Elder Preston, mind blowing. This is night one. Night one. We still are just from the first person that we had to the last. We want to say thank you for those who are watching us. To our panelists for who are being on tonight, guys, thank you for being a part. We're going to be with you all tomorrow. I'm going to ask if we can just have myself, Pastor Scott, and Elder Preston on screen. Let's bring on Elder Winston back as we kind of conclude this thing. Elder Preston, you opened up with a quote, And do you want to end with that? Do you want to kind of reiterate that again, Doc? Do you want to go over it or do you get final thoughts from you and the president tonight?
Listen, first of all, to every saint, every child of God that's out there, this is the answer to the need of the church in the 21st century. We don't need another session on what the church isn't doing. We just need to get up and do it. And this is what it is all about. And I guarantee you, from the pen of inspiration, from the Bible itself, if we get up and work, and saints, we understand that everything may not fit your church. That's all right. That's why tonight we had how many tonight? We had four presenters tonight.
Five.
And tomorrow at 4:00, we'll have 5 more.
Yes, sir.
You don't need to do all 10 of them. If you just do one,
we're giving you tools, man.
You can turn the church around. This is what South Atlantic is all about. I'm gonna let my president finish it up. But saints, go out, call your friends, beg them, go out into the highways and the hedges and compel them. 4:00 tomorrow afternoon, same time, same station. We have the answer to every church you've ever said, we're a dying church. Let's live. Let's not die on the couch.
That's it.
Let's live.
We're excited for the panelists that we have. One more time, Kirk, put that up for us one more time. We're excited to have Dr. Tracey Carter with us. We're excited to have our own Elder Merkita Mosley. We also have Elder Preston's brother, Melvin Preston. And then, of course, we have Pastor Nathaniel Drew and Daniella Newbill. We're excited. We've got a lot of different topics going on. But Mr. President, please, would you take an opportunity? Yes, and Kirk Nugent as well is presenting tomorrow. But go ahead, Mr. President. Final thoughts today.
Beautiful evening. Besides the sharing of information, if you did not sense that all of those presenters tonight were sincere from their heart, they're not doing this to make a name for themselves or advance their careers. They did this from the heart. And I thank them. I thank you all for pulling this together. It doesn't take people long to discover if you're phony or not. It doesn't take them long, especially young people. They can see through you. And all of these presenters tonight did from their heart. And I thank them and I thank you. Beautiful evening. I can't wait till tomorrow. What time is it?
4:00 tomorrow. 4
tomorrow.
O'clock. So eat your Sabbath lunch. Put it on your TV screen. That's it. 4:00 p.m. be on. For our winner tonight, we're gonna go back to our South Atlantic Facebook page, and we're gonna present the winner tomorrow. So that means you got to come back. If you subscribe, you got to come back. So come back tomorrow. We're gonna do 2 giveaways tomorrow. We're gotta go back and look at the names. We're gonna give away those $50. We were good on it. We gave the $50 right to your Cash App. We want to make sure that we take care of you. Once again, those who are our presenters, thank you. This has been a big part of the South Atlantic Conference. We are for our people. For those who watch us from other conferences, we're thankful that you watch us as well. Listen, this information that we have for you, we just want to advance the kingdom of God. And so with that, thank you so much to our production manager, Kirk Nugent. 4:00 tomorrow, folks. We'll see you next time.
God bless.